Tip number 5, lead the interview. Remember, why are you attending the interview? To sell yourself, to get selected, to win. You are not there just to inform. There will be 20 people attending the same interview. Why should the interviewer hire you? What is special about you? So you must answer this question. What is special about you? Why should you get selected when 19 others will get rejected? You must answer this question even before the interview. This is called storylining. Prepare your story. First, what is it that I want to communicate? Second, how exactly will I communicate that? A good way to answer that is, what is it that the interviewer could be looking for? Let's take a real example. Let's take an example. You have applied for an HR job. The job is as a recruiter. Many entry-level MBA jobs are for HR recruiters. So, if you've applied for this job, step back and ask yourself, even before the interview, remember you are preparing a storyline now. So even before the interview, spend some 1 hour with yourself trying to answer, what is it that the interviewer is looking for in the role of a recruiter? What could be the skill sets? Some functional skill sets, knowledge of job portals, knowledge of how to write a job description, competency mapping perhaps. So these are some functional skill sets that the interviewer may be looking for if the job profile is that of a recruiter. What could be some other softer skills that the interviewer could be looking for? Ability to understand people, the art of conversation, because you'll be calling a lot of candidates and then doing the first round with them. So write down 2 or 3 functional skill sets, 2 or 3 managerial or general soft skill set, and 1 or 2 possible concern area. What does that mean? Why would the interviewer reject you? This job is a low-paying job. Maybe the student wants a high-paid job. This job requires a lot of cold calling. Maybe the interviewer is a girl who's uncomfortable with cold calling. So, remember, you are trying to make your story. You have to lead the interview. You have to decide the outcome of the interview, which is to win, to sell yourself. So, even before the interview begins, you have started with, what is the interviewer looking for? The interviewer is looking for some functional skills. The interviewer is looking for some soft skills. The interviewer has certain concerns about you. Now, let us step back and prepare our story. Our story would be, how would I convince the interviewer that I indeed have those functional skills, I indeed have those soft skills, and I indeed are not too bothered. I am not too bothered about those concern areas. Those concern areas do not apply in my case. So let's take a quick recap. I have to lead the interviewer, and therefore the interview. Therefore, even before the interview begins, I will prepare my storyline. I have to think through what is it that the interviewer is looking for, some functional skills, some soft skills, and some concerns that the interviewer may have. I have to then prepare my story, how I am the best candidate for this particular job. Let's continue with that example. The job is that of a recruiter. It's an HR interview. We have understood what are the skill sets that the interviewer is looking for. Functional skill sets, soft skill sets, and some concern areas. Now I have to prepare my story. So one example that you could give in an interview is, sir, I was doing my life project, and in that life project, I was asked by my employer to fill up 3 vacancies. I was able to actually complete the entire 3 hiring in a matter of 15 days. I went to all the common job portals like Naukri.com, like Monster.com, like Shine.com. My employer had an account in all of these. I shortlisted about 100 candidates. I did the first round of call it basic fit analysis with those 100 candidates, and then lined up 8 for the interview. 3 of them got selected. Why did I talk about this experience in the interview? because I know what are the skill sets the interviewer is looking for, and this particular experience shows all those skill sets: knowledge of job portals, knowledge of how to write a job description, art of conversation with those prospects, ability to get it shows all of those things. You could also talk about I was the team leader of my college and we organized this festival and I allocated work to everyone. Why do you want to talk about this? Ability to work with people. You know this is the skill set that the interviewer is looking for. This particular experience shows that skill set. One of the common ways to express an experience is called the CAR model. C-A-R. What was the context? What was the action you took? What was the result? The context was I was asked to hire 3 people. Action was I went to the website and called up 100 people and did the first round. Result was we were able to complete all the 3 hiring in a matter of 10 days. Context, action, result. Why did I give this experience? Because this exhibits in me the kind of skill set that the interviewer is looking for. The interesting thing is, if the interviewer specifically asks you, tell me this about this live project in your CV, then you have to obviously talk about it. Even if the person doesn't talk about it, you can just say, sir, I want to talk about my life. It's perfectly fine to say, sir, I want to talk about my life project. It may be relevant for this job. Or, for example, if the interviewer says, tell me something about yourself, you would say, so one of my most fun moments in the MBA was when I did this life project, and then you complete the whole thing about the life project. See, you have to fit this CAR model, this experience of the life project, somewhere in the interview because you know this will help you in getting hired. Similarly, your concern areas, you know the concern areas that the interviewer may have is recruiter jobs generally pay a little low salary. Will you be interested in such a job? So, for example, even before the interviewer asks something, you can say something to the effect, sir, in the beginning years, I'm here for learning. Money is the last thing in my mind. I want to learn and grow. The moment you say something, the interviewer has to click on that sheet of his where he says, can this candidate leave because of low paying job? He will say, no, this person will not, because you've already said something to the effect. If you say this even before the interviewer asks you, the credibility is much more. Because if you say it after he's asked you, then obviously you will say, I'm okay, right? So the interviewer will discount whatever you're saying. So somewhere, you have to lead. The tip is, you have to lead the interview. You should be clear what is the story you want to communicate with the supporting logic for that story. You must make sure that in some of the other answer, that story comes out. It is a good habit to prepare those 5 stories, those 5 experiences about yourself that you must communicate by the end of the interview. वो पहले से, even before you start the interview, those 5 stories are written and you must communicate that. So, tip number 5, once again, lead the interview. Prepare the storyline and then communicate.